line. Over there, over there. Send the word over there. That the Yanks are coming, the Yanks are coming. The drums rum-tumming everywhere. So prepare, say a prayer. Send the word to beware. We'll be over, we're coming over, and we won't come back till it's over, over there, over there, over there. Send the word over.
Hey everybody, this is Joshua Littrell. I am proud to bring Honor Across Arms to you today on this podcast. Joined with Troy Bowyer today, who is our guest, and he's an Army veteran. We're really going to talk about uplifting our service. We'll talk about the neat things that we saw while we served in the military, some fun experiences, some cool stories, crazy things that may have happened. That's what this podcast is about, to let you all know what it's like to serve in the military, to see the other side of the world, to see the inside of your own country, and to really understand what it's like to serve your country, and not the serious side of it, but really the neat, fun experiences that we get. Troy, good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right, man. Good morning to you. Another good day.
It is. You know, today's September 11th, and it's a day that, I think we all remember. And it's one of those days that will live in infamy, as much as with Pearl Harbor and days like that, where our country lost thousands of brothers and sisters of its own children. And I know that when I think about this day, it makes me reflect upon the service, the ability to serve our country, protect our family, friends, and, do something for the greater good, right?
Yeah.
That's why I joined. Why did you join?
It's kind of for the same reasons, one that most do is it was like a calling to me, it was something I felt I had to do. Once I got out of TRADOC and into, out in the real Army, I really dug in, and I really connected with it. Aside from, when all my injuries and everything started, I was good at it, and I really enjoyed it. Of course it got harder as my injuries got worse and
absolutely
became more difficult, but, it was a big part of my life, and I really dedicated myself to it, and I still feel, kind of dedicated to it, attached to the service in a way.
Well, I think we all do, and that's the good thing about wearing the V on our chest as a veteran, is that we still have that brotherhood, and that sisterhood that we signed up for, which is really amazing. Before we get into a little background and stuff, let's actually reflect a little bit on September 11th. So, if you don't mind, when did you join the military?
It was, I started basic November 14th, 2005.
Okay.
Did one station unit training at Fort Knox. I was there for 7 months, I think. Left there and went straight to South Korea.
So, let's, do you remember September 11th, Troy? Do you remember where you were at that day?
I honestly cannot recall.
You're a little bit younger than I am, obviously.
Yeah, I was 18. Just about a month before I left for basic. I was, my birthday was day after Christmas, so I left just before I turned 18.
Wow.
And but I was ready to go, man.
Yeah,
I was ready to go. Especially after all that happened.
Sure.
That was one really strong indicator that it's something that was one of the bigger events that happened in my young life that I can remember, and that was one thing that really pushed me. I can't have this.
Sure. So it had a lot.
I cannot allow this. So I really wanted to be a part of that fight, and to do something proud for my country. So
absolutely, and that's something that I took a lot of pride in too. And I came in 99, so I was there in the military when September 11th happened, and I'll never forget that day. I'll never forget the first tower being hit, and we all reacted differently. We didn't think we were under attack at that point in time, But I remember getting a call. I was stationed at Eglin Air Force Base at that point in time. Got a call and said, hey, come into the conference room, check out the TV. The tower was on fire. Okay, so we're all huddled in there, and there's a group of probably 20 of us in this conference room. And the second tower gets hit. That plane comes in, and immediately right then, we knew for a fact we were under attack. So I'll never forget, we went to Force Protection Condition Delta, so FPCon Delta, and I'd never seen a lockdown before, and in fact, I had the opportunity to reflect with some of the people that were upper enlisted and some of the officers that had been in the military for 10, 15 years at that point in time. They had never seen Delta before. They had never seen a lockdown. They'd never been under attack. So that was really, it was an interesting day. And as we sit here today on September 11th and we reflect on that, it's just, I wanted to take just a short moment just to remember those that had been lost and those that paid the ultimate price, not even for our freedom, because they weren't fighting for us. These were innocent civilians, brother, innocent civilians. That's why you and I had the calling. I was already in the military at the time, but I was ready to go fight, just like you said, and that's what we joined for, So let's lighten the mood a little bit. We took a little time and we give thanks to those who did give their life, and we give thanks to our brothers and sisters who have died, falling in that battle as well. Continuing to fight terrorism. So let's talk a little bit about you. You and I, Troy, have been personally friends for 4 or 5 years now. I'll never forget the first time you came down to Eglin Air Force Base when the wife and I were stationed down there, and hung out a little bit. We did that rucksack little thing that day to honor our brothers and sisters that had taken their own lives, to raise awareness about the suicides. I appreciate that. Appreciate you being there.
Oh, absolutely, man. It was a good time.
Tell us a little bit about your background. You're an Army vet?
Yep, Army veteran. Like I said, I joined in 2005. 63 Alpha, I think, was originally the original job title, but they changed it, I think, two or three times during my 10 years. But basically I was an M1A1 Abrams Systems tank maintainer.
Abrams, the big badass tank.
Yeah, it was fun.
Tell us about a little bit of maintaining that thing, man. What all did you do on that?
A lot, man. Anything from track to pull and pack, troubleshooting the engines, just anything. There's a lot of electronics in there, a lot of hydraulic systems. So there's sometimes when it comes to diagnosing, especially with the electrical system, it can be pretty challenging. But it was always fun.
Sure.
And I enjoy a challenge. So every time it was just really fun. And
so, Troy, were you a jack of all trades?
Yeah, essentially. No, I wouldn't say that really, actually. But when it comes to maintenance on vehicles, my line team, we maintained Humvees, basically anything on wheels, anything on tracks, gas, diesel, and turbine engines. We caught a lot of slack as the tank mechanics, but at the end of the day, we were all on the same team. But us tank mechanics are a little bit of a special breed because we can work on gas and diesel engines and turbine engines, and all the other mechanics that could work on turbines. So I think they was just mad.
Well, let's talk about a little bit of that razzing. We do it. That's part of serving in the military is razzing each other. So when some of the other services would come after you, you talk about the turbine engine, being able to, maintain that thing. When you think about it, and some of the other, MOSs are looking at you guys, I think they're a little bit jealous, that they can't do a whole lot of what you guys do. And that's why they razz you a little bit, but we got to push back, right?
Oh yeah. It was always just, I'm just going to call it harassment, going back and forth all the time, man. All the time. We talk trash to each other, but at the end of the day, we had each other's back. Anything, another line team needed, or, we were all pretty much friends, so we took care of each other. It wasn't just the line teams, it was the companies we supported,
Sure.
the tankers and the grunts and all those guys. We always did our best to take care of them, and when they went out on mission and stuff, they needed help. Us mechanics were the first ones to jump up, grab our gear, and get outside the wire with them. So we kind we kind of did dabble in a little bit of everything.
Oh yeah.
But it was, you know, that's one thing that really kept it interesting. It never really got too remedial.
Sure.
So it was always something new, something different, you know. So it was a good time, and I wish I could go back to it.
Yeah,
for sure.
I know you and I both do. You know, I mean, that's the thing about being injured. You know, it's hard for us to go back and serve. I remember when I got out, spent a couple of years out, and I decided, hey, I'm gonna try to go back in. I got a disability rating when I got out, and they said absolutely not. You know, anything over 10%, you're not coming back in. So a little disheartening there, but you know, it was really amazing while we served. So tell us some of the places you served at. Were you in country here in the United States? Where were you stationed at?
Well, my first duty station was Camp Casey, Korea. That was pretty interesting.
Korea.
Especially the field problems. You know, we're out there in those mountains.
Sure.
Cold, snowy, wet. You know, just out there roughing it up, man. But it was a good time, especially when we did Table 12, and what that is essentially not so much a qualification, but it's just you know, a full-on battle drill that we do, and basically the tanks, Bradleys, you know, just anything and everything we had. Helicopters coming in, shooting rockets at the mountainside.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was like fireworks, man. It was all right there on the hillside.
So big war games.
No, yeah, it was pretty awesome.
So I guess that's what Kim Jong-un and Kim Jong-il are all time pissed off about, right?
Yeah, probably.
Our war games.
We had a few sable rounds and stuff go over the mountainside.
Sorry, guys. We let a missile go over the top.
Yeah, we always heard about that later on.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. So in Korea, how did you like that? Did you have an opportunity to get out and get into the countryside at all, or experience the people? What was that like, Troy?
It was very interesting. Actually, while I was there, my cousin Richie was stationed down at Humphreys.
Wow.
So he actually came up a couple different times, and we linked up, and we, you know, went out, went to the museum down in Seoul. You know, hit up some of the bars in the evening, stuff like that. You know, we did a bunch of different stuff, but it was very interesting. That was my first, you know, real experience with a whole nother cultural, you know, a whole nother world outside of the U.S. And it was just, you know, it was a big learning experience.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. So you're a Missouri boy. You grew up in Missouri, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how does a young man from Missouri get put into Korea? And what in the world do you feel like at that point in time?
Well, it was a little nerve-wracking. I was actually originally supposed to go to Fort Bliss first, and they had my like an advanced identifier. I was supposed to learn about one type of tank, but they ended up retraining me under something else, so that way they could send me to Korea. And I ended up actually being the recovery specialist over there, M88 operator. It's about a 68-ton vehicle.
Wow.
I mean, it was that was my baby.
Is it a tank or is it a truck? What is it?
It's like a big shoebox.
Okay.
With you've got a spade on the front that you can, you know, dig into the ground or move earth with, whatever you got to do. You've got a main winch on the front that you can, you know, recover vehicles with. You've got a boom that you can erect from the back.
Wow.
And you can use that for, you know, pulling packs, moving objects, whatever the case is. So I mean, this thing was just a beast.
That's a hell
of a machine. Oh, I loved it, man. That was my favorite part about serving was operating that vehicle.
I can't even imagine, man.
So,
I can't even imagine. How many hours do you think you put in that thing?
Oh man, I don't even know. In Korea, during the wintertime when we would go out to the field, you know, you were still exposed out the hatch.
Sure.
We didn't have a windshield or anything like that. So my little game was when we were sitting at the gate, you know, ready to move out and go to our AO for field training, I would put a couple pieces of gum in my mouth and see how long I could chew the gum before my face got numb enough that the gum just fell out of my mouth.
Wow.
So it was cold, man. But like I said, you know, you try to make the best of what you can, because you know, embracing the suck. You know,
sure.
It's not always fun, but you make it fun, and that was the good thing about most of the people you were around when you were serving is you kind of just play off each other and
hey, we're all in it together.
Make the miserable not so miserable.
That's right. Embrace the suck. I had the opportunity to serve in Korea too. I was there in 2004, so I spent 14 months over there, and It was a great operation. You know, the operational tempo was something that was completely different than what I had been exposed to stateside.
Yeah.
Here, stateside.